Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, we'll focusing on the equation of hyperbola. So, as we already discussed, we have two types of hyperbola. One is when your transverse axis is parallel to x-axis, and another one when your transverse axis is parallel to y-axis. So we already discussed this for the coordinate of your center, vertices, and foci. However, for this part here, we haven't discussed it yet. So let's focus on the equation first. Let us first see the equation of a hyperbola with transverse axis parallel to x-axis. So this is the equation. So as you can see, this figure here is as if this is the equation of an ellipse. However, the difference is we have minus here. Okay, so when we have minus, the first term and the second term is very important to be put into places. So how can you memorize this? So when transverse axis is parallel to x-axis, therefore x variable will be the first term. So you should write x minus h squared in the first term and y minus k squared as the second term. How about the denominator? The denominator of the first term is always a squared, while the denominator of the second term is always b squared. And our right hand side is always equal to 1. Next, let us see the equation of transverse axis parallel to y-axis. So since the transverse axis is parallel to y-axis, therefore y minus k squared should be your first term, while your second term is x minus h squared. How about the denominator? So as I mentioned before, the denominator of the first term is always a squared, while the denominator of the second term is always b squared. And as usual, your right hand side is equal to 1. So that's it for equation of hyperbola. So be careful because this is minus sign. Okay, let us focus now to the equation down here where we are talking about A, B, and C distance. So it's mentioned here A must be positive, B must be positive. So this is correct because the distance must be always positive. Therefore, A and B must always be more than 0. So what is the connection between A, B, and C? So in hyperbola, C is the largest distance compared to A and B. Okay, let us go back and see here. This is your A, this is your C, and this is your B. So in any cases, the distance of C is the largest. Let us see another hyperbola with transverse axis parallel to x-axis. So again, we can see that the distance C is larger than A and is larger than B. Therefore, our Pythagorean theorem in equation of hyperbola is equal to c squared equal to a squared plus b squared. So when we want to find the distance, either A, B, or C, we can utilize this Pythagorean theorem here. So be careful, do not mix up this Pythagorean theorem between ellipse and hyperbola. In ellipse, A is the hypotenuse because it's the largest distance. However, in hyperbola, C is the hypotenuse because C is the largest distance. Then, the next one, let's see the length of transverse axis. The length of transverse axis, this is just equal to 2A, and length of the conjugate axis, this is equal to 2B. So this is almost the same with the equation of ellipse, where the length of major axis is 2A and the length of minor axis is 2B. However, in hyperbola, we use the term of transverse and also conjugate. Alright, so that's all for this video. Let's meet at the final video where I will discuss the examples of hyperbola. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.